Well, hello, everyone, and it is so nice to see you all here for the webinar on how you can earn passive income, how you can take ownership of real estate in and around Cork, Ireland, by partnering with Cork Real Estate Group. This is such a fascinating presentation. I'm going to be showing some things that can really put you on the fast track to passive income and wealth accumulation. But before I do that, I need to read a very brief disclaimer. It'll just be one paragraph. And then after that, we'll get to the fun presentation. But this is just a brief legal disclaimer. So as accredited investors, you will be aware that all investments carry some level of risk. This investment is only available to investors who are able to assess their own appetite for risk. Please read the risk statement within the investment memorandum before investing. All right, fantastic, fantastic. So let's get started. For those of you who may not be so familiar with the area, let's first go through where is Cork, Ireland. Well, if you go to Ireland, we've got a little map there that shows Cork, and it is in red. It is such a great area in Ireland. What does that mean, though, to partner with Cork Real Estate Group? How can you partner with someone on a real estate deal? Well, let's go through the benefits to you, and then on another slide, I'll explain in very exact detail what that means. So the benefit is that you can earn a significant passive income over many years. You know, one of the most powerful features in finance is if you can secure a long-term passive income stream. You know, a lot of people, they do silly things where they'll go and they'll be so proud of themselves that they made a, for example, they made a 20% rate of return on some deal. And then they'll do that in a month. You know, they'll have one deal where they do a transactional type deal and they make a good return. And then that money will just sit there, dead money, sitting in the bank, waiting for their next deal. Folks, it's a lot more powerful if you can put that money to work one time and for years have it be earning and earning and earning while you're sleeping, while you're working on your core business. And that's really what Cork Real Estate Group is about when you partner with us. You also can enjoy the pride of real estate ownership. This is not one of these deals where you're a lender and you're going to get some interest and that's the best that you get. Folks, we're cutting you in on the action here. You are getting a piece of the real estate. You are getting a piece of the real estate when you invest with Cork Real Estate Group. So you're going to earn a preferred rate of return, and I'll discuss what that means in a minute. But you're also going to get a tax benefit. I mean, you high earners, and many of you here are very high earners. You're always in a situation where your tax bills are so high. Well, with Cork Real Estate Group, you can obtain depreciation to really reduce your tax burden. It is fantastic. So let us do all the work, folks, and you get the passive mailbox money. It is the best way. It's the easiest way. So the way it works is we purchase real estate in and around Cork, Ireland, typically in the price range of €1 million or higher. But we also will buy assets that are in packages or what we call opportunistic assets, such as maybe a single family home from a motivated seller. Because if a seller comes to Cork Real Estate Group and says, I've got 4 properties and I want to sell them all, 3 of them are in Cork and 1 of them's in Dublin, and I've got to sell them all. If we start telling that seller, look, you know, we only buy stuff that's in Cork, we're not going to buy that one in Dublin. That seller may very well say, if I have to mess with it, I'll just put them on the market. And then so as a convenience to our sellers, we will buy packages that way. But our search area where we're looking is in and around Cork, Ireland. But if we buy that thing in Dublin, we might end up selling it off instead of keeping it long term, or we might keep it, but we're focused on Cork. So, we do opportunistic opportunities. So, you know, if you're thinking about retiring, it is so important. And there's so many wonderful options with retirement accounts. I'm sure many of you in this audience, you already have a self-directed personal retirement savings account, or maybe you have a self-invested personal pension. Maybe you have a small self-administered scheme. Whatever you have, folks, we can work with you. We can work with you. Whatever retirement account you've got, just let us know. We can do a consultation. We've got a lot of experts in that area that are part of the team with Cork Real Estate Group, and we can definitely help find a way where you can maximize the tax savings in your retirement account and earn that passive long-term income. And by the way, a lot of people, they do those REITs. This is so much better than a REIT. We'll go through all of the reasons for that in a few more slides. But, there's certain rules that many people are not aware of. For example, in the UK or in Ireland, you're not allowed to, the basic key thing is you've got to do what's called an arm's length transaction. And the way that works is you can't be the principal in the transaction. So if you've got a retirement account that has money and you want to go buy real estate, you can't do it. That's the way that the law is, and you don't want to break the law. But if you partner with Cork Real Estate Group, where we're the workers, where we're doing all the work for you, you can get the ownership. We make sure you get the ownership as part of the deal. We get some ownership, you get some ownership, but we do all the work. We're not drawing a salary. We work on, we get a small asset management fee. It is so small. And, we're just in the deal with you and we're working, and it's a great situation, but you can earn significant returns. And this is something that's important. And if you have questions about that, folks, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Go to corkrealestategroup.com and then fill out the contact form, and we will be happy to work with you. Let's talk about our team. We have Carl Tona, who is the chairman of the board of directors. And Mr. Tona, he was actually a graduate. He has a degree, a secondary upper degree in banking and finance from the University of Malta. He brings over 15 years of experience in asset management, financial advisory. He is such an asset, and he helps us with the strategies that we develop for Cork Real Estate Group. Myself, let me introduce myself properly. My name is Benjamin Z. Miller. I'm an American, and I have been doing real estate deals many years, not just in the United States, in Europe. I've been doing a lot of things. I bring a lot of experience to the team, and every year I like to work with several startup companies, to one or two startup companies every year, where I'm helping them with making them into a success. So that is something that is fantastic. And I've got experience with not only real estate, with business acquisitions, all sorts of things like that I bring to the table. We have Nazar Balatov. He's the president of Cork Real Estate Group, and he is so talented. He's so smart. He actually speaks 5 languages: Spanish, German, English, Russian, Ukrainian. He's a graduate of Tarasa Shevchenko University. That's one of the top universities in Ukraine. And he does the day-to-day operations for Cork Real Estate Group. And I work closely with him to make sure that everything is going well. I have a lot of experience in the game as well, and I work with him on all of those things. We have Christopher Payer. Chris is our marketing manager, and he's also a digital marketing expert at a company called Faith Digital. And let me tell you, folks, if you need marketing, you should check out Faith Digital. They are just really great. We highly recommend them at Cork Real Estate Group. We are always looking for ways that we can deliver ads in a cost-effective format. We have Joshua Mather. He's also the marketing director. He's also the managing director of Faith Digital. Faith Digital is one of the best marketing firms out there, and they help us to locate those motivated sellers with really well-targeted ads. Okay, now let's talk about more specifically how this works. How exactly does this work? Well, it's simple. The way that it works is you invest in a limited partnership interest. So let's imagine that we find an asset in Cork, Ireland, and the price is $1 million. Now, in reality, folks, if we're buying it for $1 million, it's probably worth 1.5 million, 1.4 million, 1.3 million. But to make it not confusing, let's just pretend that the asset's priced at $1 million and it has some higher value. That's what we got a contract for, $1 million. So we will go, and we've got a network of lenders. We know several different lenders that we reach out to negotiate the most favorable loan terms, and we sign on for the loan. You're not on the loan. You're not on the hook for a $700,000 loan. You are completely safe. You're not personally guaranteeing any $700,000 loan. So it is just fantastic in terms of what happens there. We take care of all that. And then we go through and we have we've got all sorts of things that we do to make sure that the property has met all the requirements. Before we buy it, we also go through an incredible due diligence process. We make sure it's good. And then our partners and Cork Real Estate Group, we determine that we need to put together $300,000, and that is where the limited partners come in. That is where you can come in, folks. You can invest $50,000, $100,000. You make an investment like that where you invest maybe $50,000, maybe $100,000, and you're going to get ownership in this asset long term. And that limited partnership interest, you may have invested when it was, for example, say you invested $100,000. I'll just make that number up. If we achieve a 14.4% rate of return, 5 years in the future, that 100,000 is worth 200,000. That is how amazing it is. Now, it doesn't always happen exactly that way. It could be a little higher, it could be a little lower, but that's how it works. And you didn't have to lift a finger. You didn't have to do anything. We're the ones that are doing all the work for you, but you're getting all of the passive mailbox money. So how does that work on the passive side? Well, we're not only going to make sure that you get ownership in the asset. We're not only going to manage the asset. We're not only going to manage the property manager that manages the asset. You're going to get a preferred 7% rate of return on your money during the investment period. So let's say you invest $100,000, you're going to be making $7,000, a 7% preferred rate of return during the holding period. And that's for all 5 years. All 5 years. And at the 5-year mark, that's where we're really targeting that we will have taken that limited partnership interest up to where it's a double. Sometimes it happens sooner. It could happen even in 3 years, but better to say 5 years. It's a more realistic, easy to hit metric, but it could certainly be 3 years. And that partially depends on how well we negotiate with the seller. It depends on all the terms and conditions that we work out with the sellers. So the real money though for you is not that 7%, because a lot of people, they get confused and they think, oh, that Cork Real Estate Group, they told me I could get 7%. I can go do some other investment and I can earn more than. Folks, I'm not saying you're getting 7%. That's a preferred 7%. That's the icing on the cake. Let me tell you what is the cake. The cake is when that asset has doubled in value and your 100,000 that you invested is now worth 200,000. That is fantastic. I mean, and we do it all for you. So that is important to know that you can get that. It's absolutely important. So what if you want the money back early? Sometimes we get questions like that. Well, the way that this works is, if you want the money back early, say you have an emergency and you need that money back early. This is not like day trading. It's not designed to get your money back early. A lot of people, they love that day trading where, oh, you know, a newspaper story went out. I better sell at a loss real quick. I better cut my losses and now I'm going to tomorrow buy again. Folks, that day trading, it just loses money. I mean, just burns it up in fees. And the guys that think that they can beat the market, for every one of them that's up there talking about how smart they are, there's a line of 1,000 of them that failed. But at any rate, with this, it's not designed to be redeemed early. You should be aware that if you ask for the money back early, you'll forfeit any potential appreciated value of your limited partnership interest. So let's say you had a limited partnership interest that you invested 100,000 in, and on the first year it was worth 100,000, and then say 3 years later, 2.5 years later, maybe it's gone up to it's worth 140,000. If you say, hey, just give me the money back early, we can do that, but you are going to be losing all of your gains. So we don't recommend it. In the paperwork you sign, it's going to say that you can't get the money back early, but But as a friendly thing, we will work with you. And in most cases, we can get your money back in about 60 to 90 days if you ask for it back. But the paperwork is going to say that you can't get it back just because we need to do it that way. But as a friendly gesture, we're willing to work with people that have a situation instead of being all cold and hard-hearted. We want to take care of our investors. So, okay. Why is this better than lending? Well, that's a great question, folks. Why? Why would that be better than lending? Well, there's several things. You get a preferred rate of return on the rental income, on the net operating income, on all of that. You get a preferred rate of return from the day you invest. You get tax benefits. We are targeting a 15 to 20% internal rate of return on the deals we purchase. And part of our strategy, we're not buying listed properties. I mean, no offense to the investors that just love to go around and look at listed properties. That's certainly the easier way. It's a heck of a lot easier to go have a real estate agent drive you around and show you all the properties that are on the market. And then that real estate agent can tell you about how, there are other buyers. You better make an offer quickly. It's got to be competitive. The seller said it had to be. Folks, that's not our game. We work with the sellers directly. We find our own sellers. We generate our own leads, and we work out a deal that is a win-win deal for the seller. But it's got to be a win-win deal for Cork. And that means if we're not getting to the right internal rate of return, the seller's got to reduce his price or we move on to another seller. But most of the sellers we're working with, they understand that. They just want to be cashed out. They're not trying to sell for top market value. So why is it better than doing it yourself? There's always a do-it-yourself person out there, and they always think, I don't need that Cork Real Estate Group. I know how to get a real estate agent. I'm going to go buy a single family home, and I'm going to put a tenant in it. Oh boy, the bodies of those are strewn all over the field. They are just all over the field of what we like to call the small-time landlord. The small-time landlord, they get 10 or 20 houses. They do this over 30 years, and they think they're getting ahead. Boy, I can't tell you. I can't imagine what it would be like to listen to 20 years of tenants calling up, talking about the toilet doesn't work and there's a problem with the plumbing. We save you from all of that. You get to invest in high-quality income-producing assets. We plan on acquiring $100 million in real estate over the next few years in and around Cork, Ireland. So you're going to get access to opportunities that you could never find on your own. We develop leads through off-market methods like online advertising, cold calls. I mean, who likes to do cold calls? Well, at Cork Real Estate Group, we love to do cold calls in the morning, and other methods. You get benefits of economies of scale. And again, you never are going to have to listen to a tenant describe what's wrong with the toilet or the property. Some of you think you're smart, okay? For example, you say, well, I've got a property manager. I don't talk to my tenant. I promise you, if you've got a property manager, a lot of the times they're calling up to get your blessing on their plan to install a new toilet, or they're getting their blessing to do whatever. You don't need any of that. You're a professional. You're a busy person. Let us handle it all for you. It's so much better. You free up your time. You can work more on your core business, and we can focus on getting you to the golden retirement where you are really benefiting from long-term passive income. And as the years pass, your real estate appreciates and appreciates. There are so many benefits to owning real estate, as Andrew Carnegie wisely said, and you will be in good company there buying real estate. You also can join the Cork Real Estate Group network as an investor. And boy, let me tell you, when you join the Cork Real Estate Group as a bona fide investor, where you got on our annual investment program, you get onto our annual investment program. And that is something that is just fantastic, because we get a plan with you where you're going to, over maybe 5 years, you're going to invest $50,000, $100,000 a year. You make that commitment to Cork Real Estate Group, and Cork Real Estate Group makes a commitment to you to make sure that there's deals there for you and that we can keep that money working for you. And you can get assets in 1 asset, 2 assets, 3, 4, 5, as many as you want. We're here to work with you. So that's benefit. And meeting the other investors, that is just wonderful because we're going to be holding an annual event. Oh, that is wonderful. An annual event where you can network in Cork, Ireland. You can network with people. You can meet some of the team from Cork Real Estate Group. It's just a real benefit. And there's all sorts of things that can come out of that business relationship. Because the people that are at Cork Real Estate Group, we have a great group of people with experience, international experience, and we're here to do good things. So you get the tax depreciation, just like if you're a small-time landlord. It's a win at all in all situations. So, okay, how do you get started in investing? Well, first, just think through what you want to do a little bit. Maybe you have a number in mind. Maybe you want to do 50,000 a year. Maybe you want to do 100,000. Or maybe you're just starting and you want to do something lesser than that. We'll work with you, folks. We value the opportunity to start a good long-term business relationship. So pick whatever amount's comfortable. And then, reach out to us. We can have lots of discussions as well, and we'll work together to get a customized plan where we can get you in. And then when we have opportunities that come through the pipeline, we'll call you and we'll say, we got an opportunity. Here's the information. You can look it over. And then that can be one that you get into. And then, we'll call you in a few more months when we've got another opportunity. We'll call you in a year when we've got another opportunity. But you're getting deals where there's instant equity. And that's a big difference compared to what all of the others do, where they go compete on listed properties. Cork Real Estate Group doesn't want to compete. We want to have good deals, good investors, and we want to do good for our tenants. We do raise the rent on our tenants, but that's something that has to be done. We want to make sure that everything is at a proper market rate. And a lot of landlords, they don't really keep up with that as much as they should. And that's something that at Cork Real Estate Group, we absolutely, because we want to keep the properties in good condition. And part of that is keeping the rents up to a point where we can do the best for our tenants. So we want to make Cork, Ireland better. We want to help the community, and we want to make you some passive income and help you get ownership in some absolutely fantastic assets. That's it, folks. I'm going to stop the presentation. I encourage you, if you maybe see this on the web and you have a question, just contact us at Cork Real Estate Group. We love to hear from new people. We just love it. And we'll be happy to answer your questions. I'll open it up for any questions for a few minutes here if anyone has some, and I'm going to stop the recording now and thank everyone for coming.